What's up, everyone? All right, so here we are, second day in the office. Yesterday was a great day, $6,700, really pumped. Today, well, wasn't sure what I would do. Finished up $10,400. Whew, a big win. I needed it. I'm really happy about that. 4 days of trading, $35,000 of profit, just like that. The momentum has picked up. Now we're suddenly seeing these stocks go up 50, 60, 70, even 100% in one day. And this is the time to put the pedal to the metal and capitalize on the opportunity. There's a window in front of me, and I'm trying to make as much as I can in this window before it closes. So here's the thing. I did my Facebook Live recap today around 11 o'clock, and while I was doing Facebook Live, I ended up taking a couple of trades. It was kind of a surprise. All of a sudden, I saw some good opportunities and jumped in. So I want to give you guys that recap. Here's the problem. When I download it off Facebook, it's only 720. So the quality is not as good as usual, all right? So be forewarned, but you'll hear the audio and you'll be able to see and follow along. And I think you guys are gonna enjoy this because it includes some live trading. All right, so here's the day, $10,400. Green is good, $35,000 in the last 4 days. The momentum is alive. I'm gonna get back at it first thing tomorrow morning. So enjoy the recap. You have questions, you have comments, leave them below. I read them all, and I'll come back and answer them later today. All right, I'll see you guys in the morning. All right, what's up, everyone? So we're gonna go over the trades from this morning. Second day in the new office, and I'm finishing the morning up $9,387.54. This is awesome. This is a great way to start the next 5 years of trading in this space with 2 big green days. So I'm really happy about that. This month has taken a real turn for the better. It was, off to a difficult start at the very beginning of the month, but in the last 4 days, I've made $35,000. So just like that, that's something I really needed this month, and I got it. So we've got 3 days left in the month. I'm on what I would say is a little bit of a hot streak, and I just want to keep that momentum going. Last Wednesday, I lost $5,700, so it was almost $6,000, and I bounced right back on Thursday with almost $14,000. Friday, $7,000, Monday, $6,700, and now today, almost $10,000. So I've really bounced back quickly from that red day. Now, I'll say that last week when I had that $6,000 red day, I was feeling max frustration. I was just like, man, this is so frustrating, because the last 2 weeks leading up to that red day had really not been that great. And so in that one day, I gave back more than I'd made in basically the last, it'd been a little while. So that was frustrating, but I got out of it. So the thing is, what I decided to do was put a max loss on my account of $5,000. So if I'm down more than $5,000 in one day, I can't take any new trades. All right. So since I can't take any new trades on Wednesday, I basically just sat tight. I was like, all right, well, I'm really annoyed. I want to try to get back, but I can't. I'm locked out, so I'll have to wait till tomorrow. And that was good, because guess what happened on the very first day of the month for me? The very first day of the month, I lost it was like $3,000 on one trade and then $9,000 on another. I kept trading, and then I lost another $4,000. And I dug myself a $16,000 hole that I had to spend the next 2.5 weeks digging myself out of. Now imagine if instead I'd had that $5,000 max loss on my account on that day. I would have lost $5,000, maybe $7,000, but I wouldn't have been able to take that next trade. I would have been done. And that would have really changed the month. I mean, really, I'm sitting right now up, $27,000 on the month. Well, if I didn't have that $16,000 red day, let's say it was only a $5,000 red day, I'd be up $37,000 on the month. Of course, when you're in the heat of the moment and you've got that tunnel vision, all you're thinking about is how much you've made or lost today. You're not thinking about, if you end up, closing the day red, you're not thinking about how long it's going to take you to get out of the hole. You're just trying to get back green in the day, and that can cause you to start revenge trading, start getting really aggressive, emotional, impulsive, and the next thing you know, you've dug yourself a $10,000, $15,000 hole. You just can't bounce back from that in one day. It just doesn't happen. So, I've been doing this for a long time, and I still, from time to time, fall victim to those emotions of trading, the fear of missing out, the frustration and all of that stuff. But I definitely bounced back. So, week 2 of June, I made $5,500. Week 3 of June, the first full week of June, I made $5,500. The second week of June, I made $1,800. Last week, I made $22,000. This week, right now, I'm up $15,000. So, the markets seem to be on my side right now, and I feel definitely fortunate for that. So you can see today I only trade 3 stocks. I didn't overtrade. I stayed focused on just a couple of stocks. I did take a number of trades, but I didn't take trades on like 5 or 10 different stocks. I traded 3 stocks, and these 3 were all experiencing some strong momentum when I jumped in. All right, so the watch list for today was basically, there was no watch list. Nothing to me looked good for gap and go stocks. ACHV was on the list, but it was, to me, I just didn't trust it, and it's a good thing I left it alone, because this is what happened when the bell rang. It sold off. You can see it dropped here. So it dropped and then started to curl back up, but really this one for me was no good. So I didn't trade that. XBIO, this was on watch because it was so strong yesterday. So I had this one on watch for continuation. Now, we got a trade on it. I jumped in this at 529 as it squeezed up here. It ended up getting halted at 530. It resumed higher. It hit a high of 568, and I sold my 5,000 shares for a $1,200 profit. So I got into the halt, sold on the other side of it, and then as you can see, it came back down. It's curling back up a little bit now, but didn't hold up super well. ABIL, we were also watching this one for continuation. That's because it was so strong yesterday. So this one, for me, I was a little iffy about it. The price was a little on the higher side, but I did take a scalp on it. So we hit a high. Let's see, we came out of the halt right here. We tapped $13.99. We dipped down, and as we curled back up, I jumped in this one at $13.94 and then sold on that spike up to $14.44, $656. Not a huge winner, but green is good. I was happy with that. So $600 on that. And then the surprise move today was CLDC. This one wasn't expecting, just kind of out of nowhere, it started to pop up. So it hit our scanners. Let's see. Actually, it didn't hit my high day momentum scanner. It was called out in the chat room. Someone called it out. They said, hey, check out CLDC. It's squeezing up, and it's a China stock. Now, China stocks were really strong Friday and then again yesterday. So when I saw it was a Chinese stock and it was squeezing up, that made me excited. So I saw it hit a high of 234. I then said, okay, guys, on this type of stock, I'm usually going to be a buyer over the $0.50. So I called it out. Before I take the trade, I say, I'm going to be a buyer on this over 250. It pops up to 250. That's where I got in. I got in for the break of 250. Now, in this one, I also got in my IRA account. Finally took a trade in my IRA, but I only got a partial fill. So frustrating. I got in right as it was halting at 293 with 800 shares. I sold that for a 50-cent profit, which was $400. So, hey, finally, one trade this month in the IRA, and it was a green one. I'm happy about that. And yeah, good job, Ishmael. You did call it out, and you get the credit for that. So good job on catching that one. So this could have been a $2,500 winner, but small size. Well, only got filled 800 shares, so smaller winner there. But here, back in my main account, I jumped in it, and let's see, I added 250. It squeezes up. It gets halted at 293. I then add coming out of the halt over I believe it was 350. We squeeze up to a high of 360, 370. I keep adding, selling, adding, selling, adding, selling, and then, squeezing up. This hit a high of 457. So from 250 to 457, that's a crazy move. So boom, that right there was about $6,000. I then got in on the 5-minute setup for the first 5-minute candle to make a new high right here. So my entry was actually 450. I got in a little on the high side. It popped up to a high of 484. We made new highs, but didn't hold that level. In any case, I was able to sell 467, 469, and I booked another like $1,500 or $1,000 of profit. So 7,500 on that one, 1,200 on XBIO, and 600 on ABIL. XBIO, you know, it's curling back up here, back to high a day. It looks like it's going to be halted. All right, so this is getting halted right now on a circuit breaker. That looks good. I mean, that's nice. If you're in this during the halt, I always like that. Look at that. That's a move just now from $5 to $6. And this goes to show you guys, these go with or without you. So, you know, there are times where I'm going to miss them. I just missed this one, but at a certain point, you have to know when to take the money and get out of the market. So I'm taking my almost $10,000 today and I'm stepping out of the market. You know, it's just one of those things. You got to know when to take your money. Traders who overstay their welcome often end up giving back profits, and that's what you want to try not to do. So today I really didn't give back any profits. I closed pretty much at my highs, and yeah, XBIO, maybe I'm missing something here on that one. ABIL, there was a little bit more opportunity that I could have tried to capture on that one, but didn't quite get it. The high was 1455. But all in all, you know, really a solid day, really solid. $35,000 in 4 days. That is some good momentum. So, you know, the momentum is back in the market. Now, what is interesting right now is that this is a market where you can learn some bad habits. So you have to be a little careful. You know, things like CLDC, jumping into that at 250 during a slow market, I wouldn't have taken that entry, right? Because in a slow market, what's more likely to happen is it pops up and then comes all the way back down. Look at MTSL. This one, you know, I mean, this is kind of an example of the risk. It pops up to 234 and then is back at $1.67. You know, I mean, it did kind of hold up a little bit for a second there, and then it rolled over pretty hard, and then it dropped. So in a weak market, you see this basically on every stock that pops up. Pops up, hits the scanners, and then rolls over and sells off. So, you know, kind of what we saw out of the gates for ACHV. In a weak market, you see this, and it just continues going down. Now, when you start to see a little more strength, that's when you start to see these moves where stocks start to squeeze up. They start to pop up. Sometimes it's a little unpredictable. They just start to take off. They hit our scanners, and then, you know, boom, that's where I want to be jumping in. So you can see XBIO was on my scanner right here. High volume, low float, up 8% in the last 5 minutes. ACHV was on there a little earlier. MTSL was on there. I didn't take a trade on it, just watched it. CCCL was on there. That's a China stock. BOSC, CLDC, ABIL. TSRI, I didn't trade that one because it has 5-cent tick. So this one trades in 5-cent increments, which to me made the risk a little too high. Scrolling down, ABIL, XBIO, yeah. That's so. Yeah, I mean, you can see, but this scanner shows us what's strong on any given day. So right now, let's see. You've got XBIO. Now this is halted on circuit breaker. I'm just going to move this over here for a second. So XBIO got halted at a price of $6.04 as it was squeezing up. So I'm just going to move this down here. XBIO. I'll push this up a little bit. All right, so XBIO was halted at 11:09 and 10 seconds. So if it's a 5-minute circuit breaker halt, it will resume at 11:14 and 10 seconds. These are 5-minute halts. They pause the market because the stock has just made this really big move, more than 10%. So it gives traders a moment to just kind of collect their thoughts, and, you know, it's supposed to kind of limit volatility and minimize especially downside flash crashes, because it, you know, kind of just makes everyone stop for a second. So with this type of stock, you know, we're looking at the highs from a couple days ago of being 736. Yesterday's high was 645. The The volume on it is 1.8 million shares. It's not super crowded. So generally what I would do on this type of stock, and not usually at this time of day, but I would say, okay, the high before the halt was $6, and $6 is what it says. So $6 is the high before the halt. So now if it opens below 6, if it opens at 570, 580, I would usually be a buyer for the break of $6. So I'd put an order at 6. And maybe I'll just do small size just to show you kind of what I mean. And then if it opens above 6, like 625, 650, that's where I'd usually be a buyer to scalp that move up towards, the $0.50, maybe even 7. Typically, when they halt going up, they open higher. So I would anticipate a possible resumption in the 620s. So watch this. Now, if it dips down for a second, that's fine. If it breaks now over 625, I'd be a buyer. So I look for a little bit of a dip for a second, and then there I'd be in for the break of 620. You see that pop there. So right now it's kind of touch and go. Is it going to break? As soon as it pops up, I put my order up on the ask. Right now you've got a high of 639. So that's where the spot I'm looking to break. So you can see a little bit of resistance there at 639. I already have my order at 638, but what I'll do is I'll cancel it for a second, and then we'll see, is it going to squeeze up? It could go either way. Looks like this one's, kind of dropping. The high is 639, so that's still sort of the spot to watch. These ones, they move so quick right out of the gates. You kind of have this opportunity to jump in. This time of day for me, obviously a little high risk, and I've got some profit on the day, so I don't mind risking it. But the back of the mind is that over 6, you squeeze up, you break over that level, and then that first target would have been 650, then 675, and then potentially, a tap of $7. So, right now it's a little touch and go here. I usually let these shake out for a second for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high, and then we see what it does. So the high of this current candle is 620, and the low of that last candle is 571. So now what I would watch would be a break of 620 for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high, and then from there a retest of 639, which is the highs, and then I want to see a break over the $0.50 over 650. That's generally what I'm looking for with these types of trades. They almost always resolve better in the first 30 minutes, the first hour, because you have more participants in the market. You have more people trading, and that gives you better follow through. So right now you see some green on the time and sales, which is good. High of that last candle, 620. So now over 620 is going to be the first 1 minute candle to make a new high. There's 620, but you see it's not really opening up. So that's where I start to kind of scale out. I'm like, I don't want to see a false breakout. So on this one, I'm pretty much selling, break even on the ask. And if it ends up ripping, then it'll go without me. But when you go for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high, you pretty much want to see immediate resolution. So you want to see it really squeeze right up there, and if it doesn't, then I get out. Now I would say I would wait for it to break over 639, and if it did break 639, that's a place I would get, back in with small size or whatever. 639, and then the break over the $0.50 of 650. Thing is with these, you have to be able to move quickly. So having the right tools is definitely to your advantage. And for me, the hotkeys, you can see I can trade very, very quickly. I can get in, I can get out. It allows me to stay nimble. I can move fast. If you're trying to trade from your iPhone or something like that, see, watch here. So there I get back in at 39, immediately looking for the break over the $0.50. So we see 37 on the ask right now. We want to see the break over 39, and then I want to see the break over 650, which is the $0.50. So there's 642, 648. It's kind of a little bit sluggish here. So I'll sell on the ask at 642 for now. So whatever, a little bit of profit there. These are small trades for me. So on that one, I could have held on a little longer. Would have been obviously better up here from, 38 to 68. It would have been a couple $100. So on this one now, the high is 68. But it's kind of flashing around. When I got in there at 39, I was expecting an immediate break, and it kind of did a little bit of hesitation before opening up. So, I don't usually like to see that. The high now is 68. In a strong market, I'd be a buyer right there at 68. kind of watching to see if it's going to move up towards 7. Again, still smaller size than average for me at this time of day. What I did on what I did on CLDC today is I kept adding at these levels. So like a spot like 89, I would add and then sell on the other side. So I'd be in at 89, I would sell at like 705. But the thing with this one, so you can see actually this is very close to getting halted again on a circuit breaker. Now, it looks like it's going to get halted. You can see the way it's trading. So now it's halted. You see the H right there. So yeah, I sold too much of it too soon. But when you have that little sort of momentary pause there, that is not what you like to see. Because see, this broke over high a day right here and it hit 44. And then it dropped down to 35. A true breakout goes instantly. You don't have to have that moment of hesitation. You just instantly squeeze. This popped up to 68 and then dropped to 51. You're seeing these red candles mixed in. A really good breakout just goes. It just immediately takes off. You look at CLDC. If we go back here on this a little bit, this kind of area, this basically immediately went from $4 to a high of 463. I mean, it just went straight up. That's what you want to see. Certainly in this area, it was just taking off. This is really strong momentum. You don't see a red candle there up until 379. So from $2 to 379 without going red. The way I trade, I really rely on reading the tape. So I'm reading the level 2. I'm watching the action right here. And when I see that moment of hesitation, it makes me nervous. I don't like to see that. I like to see strength. I like to see these guys just really hold up. So, this is going to be one where a couple little scalps there, whatever, made $20. Nothing too serious. It just didn't really hold up very well for me at that initial breakout point. But here you go. So halted at 690. And so we broke through the high from the other day of 645 yesterday. So the high is now 736. Buying out of the second halt is always riskier. Typically, we don't buy out of the second halt because they behave kind of like the way this just behaved. So when it behaved this way out of the first halt, then out of the second halt makes me even more nervous that it's going to do a false breakout, it's going to open lower or something like that. So at this point, I don't really have a lot of interest in taking trades in it. It's more of, just try to, if I was holding, ride the momentum, sell above 7. And if I, wasn't holding, I'd say, look, that train left the station, look for the next one, look for the next opportunity. And obviously getting in, even where I got in at 625, was a little bit of high risk. But when you had that dip there, we had that little dip. Usually when it comes out and breaks over that level, that's when we make that move. It just didn't really open up as much as I would have liked. CLDC starting to move up again a little bit as well. This one, if it broke over the $0.50 of 450, that's kind of where I'd be interested. This range right now is still just kind of a little too low for me. I like to see them a little higher than that. So 413 is the high. For me, breaking over the $0.50 would be a lot more interesting. Break over the $0.50, then you got a chance of it hitting high a day, which is 484. A better chance. This is still sort of in range, so not as interested in that one today. All right, so anyways, let's see. XBIO was halted at, what was the time? 10:18, so basically 10:19, so it'll resume just before 11:19, so it'll resume just before 11:24. CLDC coming up a little bit more. Still, I'd go with small size if I took any trades on it at this hour. I've already got my good profit cushion. I don't want to give too much of it back. So you see that green, that's what I like. I'm watching this. I'm seeing the green. I'm seeing the buyers. That's what I always look for. There's 35. So, you might think, well, geez, buying at 40 is buying extended. It is, but then you start to increase the likelihood that it is going to go into a halt. And we know that usually when they halt, they open higher. So that's where I want to kind of be getting in when it's starting to trade at extremes. that's when you start to see these big moves. That's when you start to see them really open up. So I'd watch it around the $0.50, 450. Over 450, I'm a buyer. A lot of times I'll get in around 445, 446 as I see those buyers coming in. On this one, I'm not sure if I would do that, but switch this to a 1 minute chart. So your high is now 440 on this little pop. So it's kind of funny. We're seeing a little burst of momentum here. This isn't the time of day we usually see it, but definitely seeing a little bit of action. So XBIO, there's the resumption. So there's 719. So usually that's where I'd be like taking profit, right? Taking profit on the other side of the whole dollar. But ooh, that flash down to 656. I don't like that. The spread. So you've got 690 on the bid, 94, and then down here at 56. It shows you how quickly this one can change directions. You can be down 50 cents before you know it. High a day is now 22. We're at high a day. Buyers coming in, 24, 29. All right, so, still showing strength, 36. And that's $1 per share for my initial entry. It's hindsight's 2020, but the way it flashed down there to 56 is certainly not pretty. So you now have a high of 735. The 5 minute is no doubt extended. This went from $5 all the way to 729, 730 in about 10 minutes. So the risk is just very high to be a buyer up here. The only time you really can, in my opinion, is if you already have a good profit cushion on the name, which I've got $1,200 on the name. So I've got a little bit of a profit cushion, usually over 735. That's where I would be a buyer. But that would be during the time of day when we usually see the most strength in the market, which is the morning. At this time of day, I'm not quite as into it. So watching CLDC as well, 415 by 428, it dipped down for a second. I think XBIO has got people's attention right now anyways. So let's see, just move this out of the way. So there's 33. Does it make sense that the stock is this high? No, probably not. But it is this high, and so as a momentum trader, we try to ride the momentum. And that's really what this style of trading is all about. It's looking to catch a wave as it's starting to, open up. And there are times where, you're wrong, and I almost got stopped out here on this as it dipped down to 71. But, this is a stock that clearly shows a lot of strength. 34 here on the ask. There's a seller at 34, buyers there. Someone dipped under at 27, 5,000 shares right there. It's one of these things that once you've been doing this for a while, it becomes second nature. The way you read the level 2, which is what this is, the way you read the tape, which is all of these tickets right here that are going through. Those are actual trades other traders are placing. So this is where I'd usually be a buyer, is at 34 with a stop at 15. And in a strong market, this little micro pullback here would give us a good breakout. So there's 45. Okay, so I'd be selling, right? I'd be taking profit on that. So just like that, you got to move from 35 to 50. That's 15 cents of profit. Now you've got a high a day of 64. Remember, we are double topping just over 36. That was the little bit of risk because we had that daily resistance. But just like that, we've broken it. So now you're back to 36 on the bid. You could have taken profit, you could have made money, and now you're back to break even if you held the whole thing. So that's why into those spikes, I usually like to sell and take a little profit. New high a day is 64. So as an aggressive trader, I'd be a buyer over 64, and then I'd be looking for 75, 80, and then over 80, and move up to $8. These stocks, when they get going, when the momentum really picks up, they get that fire. This could go up. The next resistance on the daily chart is $8.88. It may not get that high, but when you know that it has room up to there, it's it certainly makes you a little bit more aggressive. So CLDC, this one almost started to get a little sympathy, and then it rolled over. Now it's back down at 385. So rejected that level. For me, it didn't trigger the entry because it didn't get over the place where I'd really want to be a buyer, which is a $0.50. XBIO, kind of undercapitalized on this opportunity, but a little choppy on that initial break. First out of the halt, and then a little bit indecisive at 635, and then it took off. This here, high is 64, a little bit of a 1 minute micro pullback, but now remember, look at how extended the 5 minute is. So continuing to trade on the 1 minute chart, there's a lot of risk there. So, well, there you go. I mean, again, they're not always rational. There's 70, right? Popping up to high a day, 775. So, why did it do that? I don't know. Someone jumped in, maybe a short seller covered a position. And that's what we say. Stocks can be irrational. And it's not really our job to try to apply that, logic to it. It's more of where's the initial breakout point and how long can I ride this momentum. At this point, when it gets into the 70s and the 80s, it starts to have an $8 target. So I'm going to add here for a scalp up towards $8 because you can see it's got a high likelihood of breaking 8. There's 805, boom, boom, sold half, holding 400 shares. That's a quick little winner. Stop will be break even on the rest. So as we start to see those squeezes, it's about to get halted on another circuit breaker up here at 805. It's kind of hesitating there. I'll hold my 400 shares now, and whatever. Looks like it's going to be halted. Nope, not quite yet. See, there it is. Okay, there's the halt. So, quick little scalp on that. Whatever, a couple $100. Does it make sense? No, it doesn't always have to make sense. It's just riding that momentum. And now we're in daily breakout territory because we've broken over that 736 level. So, I could have been trading on the sim. I really wasn't planning on trading with real money at this time of day, but just saw this little opportunity here. So halted. Now the halt time is 11:29 and 47 seconds. So this will resume in 5 minutes. So at 11:34 and 47 seconds approximately. If I was being aggressive, this would have been, I tried to take 2,500. I only filled 1,600. You can see I got a partial fill. If I was being aggressive and it was the time of day that I make the most money, that would have been probably a 7,500 share position for me. But at this time of day, I got to, I'm not really interested in killing my day. Adding a little bit of profit is good. Don't want to risk too much. Let's see. I'm just getting the trading sim here just loaded. All right, there we go. Oops, our Cameron. I'm going to shrink that down here for a second. All right, so yeah, you can see, so XBIO in the sim here. I'll just move this back up here for the moment. So resumption is going to be in about 2 minutes. Let's see. Reminder, guys. This coming Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern, we're hosting a webinar, and this is to celebrate moving into this new office, which you can see here. I will hopefully by that time have another carpet on the floor to get out some of the echo. But anyone that wants to register, we'd love to have you guys check it out. So those of you on Facebook and YouTube, if you go to, webinar.warriortrading.com, you'll be able to register for our webinar. All right, so we've got about, a minute and a half to resumption. The way this halted, it halted at 8:05, but again, this is now the third halt. So I'm not a buyer typically coming out of a third halt. However, the stock is obviously going parabolic. It went from $5 to $8 in the last 20 minutes. That's what we call parabolic, right? So it's a big, big move. At this point, what's the next resistance level? Well, 888 was the daily resistance right there that we were kind of looking at. That's the that's the bottom. 888 is the bottom of a window that opens up to 973 if I go back on the chart a little ways. So, those can be kind of resistance levels. So 888 is something to watch. So I've got my 400 shares at 777. Be cool to close over $10,000 today. So need to sell that somewhere around 850 to do it. Can it be done? I don't know, maybe. I guess I am up over 10,000 when you add these two together, the 400 there. So maybe I've already crossed the line. All right, so 11:34 and 11:29. So resumption is going to be in about 20 seconds. At 11:34 and 47 seconds, that's where we expect to see resumption. Now, like I said, this is the third halt. There's a possibility it could open lower, so be a little careful. Remember, coming out of the last halt, we did see a little bit of a flash down to 656 or something like that before popping back up. So I'll be quick to, sell if it doesn't hold up, but if it continues higher, I'd love to be able to sell it around 850. There's 829, watching, not selling yet. 845, 847, break over 850. Is it going to happen? It looks like it might. Watching. So we have a high now of 850. So typically I would be a buyer over 847. If it broke over 847, that's where I'd be a buyer. I'd go with small size, but 847 for the break of the $0.50. Just watch this for a second. It's obviously extended. I mean, getting in up here is pretty risky. I don't know if it's going to do a clean break, but it is in parabolic territory. It's just taken off. So I would stop under $8. There you go. There's 855, 860, 870. So sold 200 shares, sold another 100, sold another 50, trying to get myself up over 10,000 on the day. There's 895. There we go, over $10,000 on the day. All right, so I'll hold the rest, stop still at $8. So this now is very small size, but whatever. High is 895. The momentum, it's hot right now. I didn't really expect this one to move up this much. The 5-minute chart it makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense that this is up this much. But if you're a short seller and you said that at $7 and took a big short position, you could be pretty big underwater. And then that's what sometimes creates these moves. Short sellers who are having to get out of their position, take the loss. Long traders who are just kind of putting on the pressure. All right, sold the rest as I'm starting to see a little selling there. You can see this red candle forming. So $10,035 on the day, plus the 400. So there we go. It's a $10,000 day. Nice. So now up $1,800 on XBIO. High day is 95. On the 5-minute chart, this is starting to take the look of a candle of indecision, a doji candle. So it's not looking super pretty. Probably needs to pull back a little bit, and can always watch this, on a 5-minute setup. But again, know when to take your money. I mean, I was close to losing $1,000 on it on this pullback. Wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world since I have a great cushion on the day, but if I keep trading like that, next thing you know, I could lose $1,000 on the next one. If I was still holding this, look, it just came back down to 750, and it's going to be halted on a circuit breaker going down. So when they halt on a circuit breaker going down, they usually open lower. When they halt on circuit breakers going up, they usually open higher. So we never like to be holding in this spot. Now that candle of indecision, that doji, was predictable. We could see it. And so when you learn these chart patterns, learning to notice those red candles, and when you learn to read the level 2 and see the time in sales, you can do really well. It allows you to get out before those drops and get in before the big breakouts. All right, so anyways, that's about it for me. A little bit of a longer recap today. We got a couple little trades in there on XBIO, so That was nice. And we'll be back at it first thing tomorrow morning, 9:15, pre-market analysis in the chat room. And we'll see if this momentum continues. Right now, I don't see any reason why it won't. So I'm going to be increasing my max share size. I'll be comfortable trading 10, 15,000 shares again for the next couple days and really try to, put the pedal to the metal, make the most as I can during this hot streak because I've got to try to get June back into good shape. I'm up $27,000 on the month, and a lot of that's thanks to the wins that I've had just in the last 4 days. But as of right now, I'm sitting up about $305,000 on the year. $305,000 on the year. So tracking for $610,000 on the year by the end of December. And sitting right now in my account that I started January 1st, 2017, $583. From $583, that account is now at $641,316.79. That means I'm $358,000 from the $1 million level. So my goal would be to make $358,000 by the end of the year because I want to cross that $1 million mark by the end of the year. That might not happen, but that's my goal. I'll set the goal and set the intention, and even if I come up a little short, that's okay. Crossing that $1 million mark, really it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. That's the only question. When is it going to happen? Because it will happen, it's just a matter of when. All right, so that's it for me. XBIO is out of play now for a while. It's going to have to pull back, consolidate. Not interested in it. So I'm taking my money, getting out of the market, going to enjoy the day, and I'll see you all back here first thing tomorrow morning, 9:15, 9:30, 9:15 for pre-market analysis. All right, I'll see you guys in the morning. If you're still watching, you must have really enjoyed that video. So why not subscribe and get email alerts anytime I upload new content? Remember, when you subscribe, you become a member of the Warrior Trading family.